there's one for you, one for you, one for you. You have some of that. This is just like being at the arcade. I'm like a kid at Christmas. Honest to goodness, this is absolutely brilliant. I wish I had a bigger CRT. You could see, actually, well, most of the time, I'm pretty good at aiming with this. So, absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10. I'm going to buy a few more of these. These are amazing. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. I'm just, of course, kidding. It is amazing, though. I was blown away with this right from the start. The first minute I tested this, I was blown away with it. James at RetroHQ has done an amazing job on this. So it's an adapter, as you can see, 9-pin. Yeah, 9-pin. You're thinking 9-pin to 9-pin. Well, the name sort of gives it away. Mega Multi. Mega as in Mega Drive. So if you get yourself, these are about to shoot up in price. I'm sure a 6-button Mega Drive pad. This plugs in there, and then you plug this into various systems. The one important thing is whatever 9-pin port you plug it into needs to be Atari/Kempston compatible. There are some exceptions in terms of the buttons, you know, so systems like the Amiga that have got more than one fire button, this caters for it. Probably the same on the ST as well, I want to say, although on the ST I'm not sure anything used that second fire button, apart from the mouse. And using the Mega Drive pad here, you just literally, I press the start button for a few seconds and you'll see in a minute that light flashes. There's a light there, an LED. It doesn't look like it, it's cleverly underneath the sticker there. And that tells you which mode you're in, and there are sub-modes for each of these. And some of the stuff with this, I'm not sure yet because we're still reviewing it at this point, are automatic. So in other words, you can see there at the bottom one, light gun. I can plug Master System light gun into this, connect it up to the Amiga, start, I don't know, Space Gun or Operation Wolf, Operation Thunderbolt, and just hit fire, and it automatically changes to the light gun setting, which is just amazing. It's like auto detect. Yeah, so for each of these modes here, there are sub-modes, and each LED, you know, indicates which mode you're in. But then if you go sideways on the D-pad, you can toggle between a couple of different sub-modes, and it flashes either once or twice to indicate which sub-mode you're in. So I'll show you the instruction thing for this in a minute. I haven't actually got a leaflet or anything with it, so I've not got a retail unit here. This is part of the testing here for James. He's ready to ship these, I think, and he's just after some feedback really. So Liv2 kindly pointed me towards the tweet when James was asking for people to test it. So yeah, I was really eager to test this. Thanks to Liv2 for doing that, and thanks to James for allowing me to review this. It's just amazing. So I'll start by just connecting it up to the Amiga. I'm going to use the 4000, but I've used the 500, the 2000, and everything works just the same. But the nice thing with this is it's connected, this 4000 is connected to my CRT. And if we just plug the Mega Drive pad into there, I'll try and just tilt this so you can see it. I switch it on, got a green LED there. That's the default mode, which is the top one there. It's got a green dot that says compatible. Yeah, I'll try and show you both things at once here. You know, the actual pad and the other thing. And the Mega Multi, that is. I don't see the Multi-Mega. Mega as in Mega Drive. Yeah, anyway, you can see both things here, including the Mega Drive, funnily enough. Right, so let's try a 2-button game here. I may have left this in 2-button mode, I honestly cannot remember. So we'll hit fire. I mean, straight away, it's fantastic being able to use a pad, a 6-button pad from a Mega Drive on an Amiga. And if you put it in CD32 mode, it supports all the buttons, which again is just incredible. So let's just see what mode I left it in. So we've got our kick. Let's try B. Yeah, so it's in standard mode at the moment, which gives me an opportunity to show you the sub mode, I think. And in fact, the sub mode for the compatible thing probably won't help. Yeah, so what we need to do is change the main mode actually. We need to go from compatible to extend one, and you do that by holding down start, and then that just flashed. I don't know if you saw that. So that shows us it's in the menu mode. And if I press down on the D-pad, see it changed to blue? Blue is extended mode. And if I just press start to save that, now bear in mind it saves these between uses. Yeah, so the second button is still not doing anything. So what we need to do is put it in a sub mode for that. And again, it will remember these settings. Yeah, so again, holding down start, it flashed, and I'm going to press right on the D-pad, and it flashed twice there. Press start again, save it, and we'll start another game because I run out of lives there. Yeah, so we're in the second mode down, extended mode I think it is, and sub mode, you know, the second sub mode. And I think that'll be 2 buttons. Yeah, look, we've got punch now. So straight away, that is fantastic, isn't it? Hold down start, going to go back up to compatible. So we're on the first menu option, I'm going to go right, and it went flash flash. So we're in sub menu 2, and then press start again. So this is a mode that may appeal to some of the earlier 8-bits and stuff, like C64. It can work on a Spectrum, but only in a Kempston interface port, provided 5 volts is supplied, which was part of the Kempston standard, I think. And of course any other system that uses the Atari/Kempston pinout and provides 5 volts. So we'll test it on some of the systems. On the Amstrad CPC, for example, and it was James pointed this out, I wasn't aware of that actually, that 5 volts doesn't go to the joystick port on the CPC. So you'd need to, you know, create an adapter. Loading the original version of Bubble Bobble here, just to show you, because it only supports 1 button this game. But if I've got it right, then the second button should jump, even though it only supports 1 button, because the second button is working us up as well. If I've got the right mode, I might have the wrong mode, so just bear with me. Let's just see. This version is so inferior compared to the new one. I always thought this was a good port. Press the B button, look, we jump. Show you that. Yeah, so we can fire and we can jump. How cool is that? I covered that mod before when I made an adapter from Neo Geo arcade stick. It's one of the things I did when I made that adapter for my Neo Geo arcade stick, but nevertheless, being built in and being able to use a 6-button pad like this and use both buttons on somewhat like, I don't know, a C64 for example, and use that to jump, is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I'll boot test kit and we'll just test the 6-button stuff. Now I have tested 6-button support earlier, it does work. There's an exception, and I came across the exact same problem with other adapters that go from, I don't know, let's say for example, I think the other one I've got goes from PS2, a PlayStation 2, to a 6-button CD32 controller, and that game is Banshee. There's a problem with it, and I don't know whether it's an interrupt thing. It might even relate to the speed of the CPU that you're using to play that game, because I found exactly the same problem where only 1 button works. It's like you can roll the plane, you can't do anything else. That's not a deficiency with this adapter. So just pointing that out, that if you get one of these to use with a CD32, because you want to use all 6 buttons, bear in mind you want stock hardware. You want to switch if you've got an upgrade mod to run an 030 or an 060, in order that you can slow down to a slower speed to play games like Banshee, because you may have an issue with upgrades and things on a CD32. But in terms of just replicating to 6-button stuff, just the same way CD32 pad is, this works an absolute treat. Holding down start, and I'm going to press down, down, down. That's that one. Press start. So we're in yellow. That looks kind of green to me, so that's my first feedback from testing. I would say the yellow kind of looks green. If that could be made more yellow-like, then it would be perfect. It's fired everything there, but if I just press A, you can see that works. B, C, so that's one of the shoulder buttons. That's the other shoulder button there, so it's like left and right effectively, yeah. And then X and Y are the other two, green and yellow equivalents, and then the middle button down here is the mode. How cool is that? It's thought of everything, because you think, oh, that might clash if you use the start. Well, you don't need to do that. You can use the back button, or the mode button. I say back button, I'm thinking of Xbox, but yeah, the mode button. So yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? So you can use 6 buttons on an Amiga this way. It does get a bit confusing with the shoulders. I found myself trying to press there then. It's just these two. But you know what? Once you know where they are, it isn't a problem. It works really well. The thing is as well, if you get one of these auto fire ones, of course, you know, you can use auto fire as well. You can see that. That's cool. Fantastic. And the icing on the cake is the crusty, dirty Master System light gun. It's a bit dirty, this. We'll cover this in a separate video. Do a tear down of it, clean up, remove all these sticky marks and things, but this made me rush out and buy one of these. These are about to get super rare and super pricey. Now is the time to go hit eBay or your nearest retro and gaming store, car boot sale, etc. It's a bit dirty that way, isn't it? And get one of these before they become really short in numbers or very expensive. Yeah, think 060s on the terrible fire. Yeah, I'll show you this in real time as well. So we were still in CD32 mode there. Just going to plug the joystick, light gun in, and there's a joystick there. Yeah, so that's in. And if I point at the screen and press fire, nothing. Let me just turn the brightness up. I've got the feeling we may have to start. Oh, hang on, it's done it. It's done it already. It's just changed. I didn't even do anything. I just press fire once and it's gone red, look. Yeah, and red is light gun mode. Yeah, again, there's 2 modes. So when you go down to that mode, using the 6-button controller, you can select mode 1 or 2 there, submode 1 or 2 on that. I'm not quite sure what the difference is. I think one of them is the Trojan. I'll stick it up top left there. One of them is Trojan and one of them is the other. There's 2 different types of light gun you can use with an Amiga. Now, James has kindly also pointed out, anything that uses the same fire button, yeah, the same fire button as the Amiga does for this, it would work on other systems as well. So technically it may work on some of the other 8-bits, but this is the icing on the cake as far as I'm concerned. This light guns, this is why I went out and rushed and bought one of these, and the experience of using it is far better than I remember light guns being back in the day. Because I remember buying a cheap PlayStation light gun when I got Die Hard Trilogy and using that in Die Hard 2, and the experience was very good, but it was a bit hit and miss, and I found the experience here for the most part is absolutely solid. Certainly on the Amiga. The Amiga is really good when it comes to that type of game. Now granted, there aren't very many of them, but there are some of my favourites. Operation Thunderball. So this is where we start on this video here, where I was like, this is amazing, and it is. And these games, if you read the notes and things that come with them, it actually explains how you get the light gun working properly. And in this case, it's you press C to calibrate, and you may need to tick 1 or 2 of those options when it's starting there in WHD load. But if I press C, you see we get the calibration screen. Now this is where it took me a while to work out the issue here. If I press fire, oh, and it's worked straight away. What I was going to say is, if it doesn't recognise it, just increase the brightness or the contrast. The contrast made the biggest difference for me here, and then hopefully this should now work. If it feels inaccurate when you're shooting and it's not quite accurate, just increase the brightness a bit more. But of course you need a CRT. Yeah, sorry, see, look, that's not working. I actually think it's not bright enough, so I have to go, there you go, pretty bright. Yeah, so one problem I have in this room is the lighting is terrible. I've got artificial lights here, and it's a dark room with no windows or anything. And I actually think some of that artificial light is affecting things as well. But you can see I am able to hit things perfectly here. So in this game, it's solid. If I aim at the top of the screen, it's up the top of the screen. I mean, I'll show you. I'll go sort of top left there, top middle. Hang on, died. Let's just try that again. Yeah, so top middle, top right, bottom left. Yeah, so it is remarkably accurate with this game. I feel like I'm at the arcade. It's like an arcade experience at home. It's just absolutely amazing. Look, I can almost single shot them once I get a bit of practice. But it's all about the game. This game is really good, makes good use of it, the driver and stuff, because this was hacked in, I think, this light gun support maybe, and they've done a really good job. It might not have been hacked in, it could have been original Ocean support. So yeah, you can see it's a bit bright there. Anyway, if I just come out of that and we try its predecessor, Operation Wolf, press C again to calibrate, aim at the middle. Operation, not Operation Wolf, but Operation. I have to pull out the funny bone. Right, hang on. It's interesting, every time you press fire, you get that white flash, even when you're just in the menus. Yeah, so as I said, this is where I was a bit disappointed with it, because you can see in the middle there, look, perfect, absolutely perfect, I think. And then top, yeah, it's a bit hit and miss. You see it going left, right there. So I'm not quite sure, is it about, and look, I'm hitting that guy there, it's not even killing him. It's like, and it keeps shooting up here. So for this particular game, I actually think the driver is a bit hit and miss. It's not supporting this light gun very well, but it isn't about the adapter or the light gun. Try and shoot that dynamite. Yeah, so look, I can't hit it at all. It's bizarre. So that's the experience with that game. Yeah, so that's quite negative, but I think it may be an out-of-date slave driver for that, so I will try and update that. I might even report back at the end of the video if anything like that is resolved. Yeah, what we've got to do here is press return to go to there, space, space, now it's on light gun, return, return. Yeah, and now just start the game by pressing space, I think it is on this game. And there's our calibration thing, so we aim at the middle. I think you've got to shoot this about 5 times. There we go. 3 times in that case, wasn't it? Yeah, so this game, accuracy is really good, better than Operation Wolf, I think. But there comes a point, or there did come a point last time I tested this, where your buttons don't, you know, your button, the fire button, doesn't seem to fire every single time. And I couldn't work out whether it was the light gun or something interrupts again, you know, it's like timing related. See there? Right, fire, look, stopped. Now, is that a brightness thing? If we increase the brightness here, will it solve that? And I think the answer is perhaps yes. So it's all about having really good level of brightness, isn't it? See how it's a bit hit and miss now? What's changed? Nothing. But this is, again, is about this game. How do I know it's this game? Well, other games work flawlessly. So it's about the driver in this game. I don't think there's any issue with brightness even there. If we come out of that, and James suggested this one, Skeet Shoot. I'm not sure if this is one of the games that came bundled. I think it probably was. So if we start the game, the accuracy on this is amazing, from my opinion anyway. You can see every now and again I do manage to hit them. So, yeah, it's pretty good. It's very good, actually. I would say this is one of the best examples of how accurate it can be. But Operation Thunderbolt is right up there with it in terms of its accuracy, I think. Space Gun is playable, but it gets irritating the fact that the fire button seems to stop doing very much. And Operation Wolf, I think, is nigh on impossible to play, really, with the light gun at the moment. So it's like Duck Hunt, isn't it, basically? Yeah, so that is really cool, and it does work very well with that game. You wouldn't believe how long it took me to wire that up. Just trying to get the display out on this 1084S was painful. What I ended up having to do was use the SCART for the audio, and then obviously the phono. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. I thought there was no sound for a minute. And there's an interesting line here, it probably just needs some adjustment. And because you're using composite, it looks awful. It really does. Right, so using the ZIF64 here, let's just switch that off. Plug it in. Yeah, never plug joysticks in on any system whilst it's on, if you ask me. Certainly things like this that are going to use the power. Plug the game controller pad. Plug the Mega Drive pad in there as well. So it's gone green, which is the standard mode. Yeah, apologies if it's you know, you get a line coming across here. It's just a consequence of trying to capture a CRT. So let's press fire. Might need to try and change the sub mode, let's see. So the first button fires, pad is working as you would expect. Yeah, the B button doesn't do anything. So I'm going to hold down start and then just press right and then start. So that's in the second mode now. So I've pressed B. Yeah, there we go. B. You can see jumps. So that's working fine. Sweet. Oh, so much easier playing with a gamepad like this. I mean, I like my joysticks, I like the Cruiser, and I like the stick that's coming up soon that you'll see. Came from Stephen Leary, got a couple of those. They're really nice sticks, and I like my homemade arcade stick, but you just get so much more level of control with a gamepad. I always like the Mega Drive gamepads as well. Sweet, anyway, no issues there, and you kind of wouldn't expect it really, any problems with that. It's responsive, it works just like an actual joystick. There you go, so I took that down. Yeah, this would be my go-to control option, I think, now on so many systems moving forward. Even if I have to add my own power. Or adapt, because you know what, I'm thinking you could get it to work in Sinclair Plus 2 if you provided the 5 volts. And obviously on the Sinclair Plus 2 the port is wired differently, so you'd have to build your own adapter, but yeah, it could be made to work. Oh, I don't know why I did that. I did that. That wasn't the pad. That wasn't the adapter, that was me. Yeah, Grand Slam. You know it's going to be a bad game when Grand Slam are behind it. Here we go, calibration, so point at the target. That's it, start the game. That's interesting, you can use it in the menu there. Here's the copy protection. What time did we arrive? Well, it must be 25:25. Alright, here we go. So, straight away, I hit something there. Yeah, so this is kind of, that was a policeman, wasn't it? I'm glad I didn't hit him. Oh, I nearly hit the policeman again. Now they drop things that you have to shoot as well, like weapons and things. Where did he go? No. Good God, he sucked a load of my health off, didn't he? The body armour there. Right underneath the conveyor belt. How am I supposed to get that? In fact, it wasn't body armour, it was a pistol. Someone threw a grenade at me. I'm knackered already, look. Ugh. Yeah, so the accuracy on that works really well. And if you're wondering how light guns work and why you need a CRT, you can't use a light gun with an LCD or a plasma. It's got to be an old school CRT like this. And it's all about, you know, how the screen is drawn. You know, the scan line comes across and then flies back and zips along like that to draw the screen. And when you press fire, you'll have seen the white flashes. That white flash again starts from the top here, white, 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 and it draws across. You're pointing this at the screen, yeah? It focuses via an optical sensor in there. It's just like a photodiode, probably, you know, a diode that is sensitive to white, yeah, white light. And it'll go, you know, it'll switch when it gets that bright signal. The bottom line is because it focuses on a small point, probably like a little area like that on the screen. As that white line is going across, yeah, that takes a certain amount of time. Yeah, the point when it hits the point, yeah, where this switches, it detects that line. Yeah, it can calculate how far across the screen and how far, you know, how far down and how far across, and it knows roughly where you are, and that's it in a nutshell. Which is why when you fire, you get that white flash. Yeah, what you don't see is it draw the screen line by a line by a line like that all the way. That is so quick. Yeah, because of course, you know, on this 50 Hz, 50 times a second, you are seeing the display. It detects where it is, and then that just passes into the game logic to say, you know, that's where the cursor would have been, if, you know, in the case of Operation Wolf, where normally you'll use the mouse cursor. So yeah, it works that way. So testing on the C64 here, not going quite as well as expected, but remember, this is a proto, and if we can help James work this out, maybe he can tweak this for the last version, final version. If I switch this on, I've got the Mega Drive pad in, yeah, and I'll show you. We'll hold down start. See it flash, yeah, up, down, not working. You can go left, right. Why is an up, down not working? I'll just confirm this with him before I do anything else, but we can go left and right, I think. That was one flash. That's two flashes. But we can't go up and down. So testing on the Atari 65XE here, you can see it is actually working with the pad, no problems at all. Just in the default mode I left it on, it, hang on, it works. One thing I did notice, if you go down fire, hang on, let's see if we can do it again, it turns you around. That might be normal on this game, I don't know. I think it is. Anyway, the light gun is the next thing I want to test, I think. Yeah, I'm testing some grid runner here. Again, the brightness is a bit bright just from how I left it before. You can see you can move up, down, left, right, and if I press the second fire button, it goes up. Yeah, so that works as well on here, the sub mode. So the standard 6-button Mega Drive stuff works perfectly. Maybe it needs to be in the other port. Now it has detected light gun here from pressing fire. Let's just hit start. Number of enforcements 1. I don't know how you do it. Select. No, select isn't the thing. Option. How on earth do you select how many? Do we need the brightness up? Select number of enforcers 1, 2, 1. I don't know how you do this. And this is the thing, as I press on the pad here, hang on, look right, hang on, up. Up is registered as a fire. Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think it's needing to use up to register a fire with this particular game. You can see me using the pad here though, and I can, you know, move left, right, up, down, and I can press the second button. That works in submode 2, so that you can use the second fire button to jump. That's so cool. So at the moment with this version it's just the light gun stuff that's not working, but I spoke to James and he was talking about adding potentially a third mode so that the up to fire on the light gun here would work. It's a pretty good version of Zax on this actually, on the Atari 8-bit. Oh, I needed to go through that little gap, didn't I? Not try to fly over it. There it is. Oh, that's so hard. Oh, I wasn't watching what I was doing there. It's just like firing along the bars, not even looking who's there. That's testing the fire button. Yeah, so the up is still working there as the additional fire. I'm going to switch it into the other mode, I think. Yeah, so that's an extender mode. And it's still working. Obviously the second button doesn't do anything here. I'm just going to see if I can find any game that's got 2 fires. I'll ask on my Discord if anybody knows of any Atari 8-bit games that may use 2 fires. I'm guessing you could perhaps plug a 7800 pad in, because that had 2 fire buttons, didn't it? So there might be one or two, I don't know. I'll ask. So there'll be a link down below to this archive containing all these hacked versions of these games. The for a 3-button stick that came out, and in the mode I'm in now, hang on, if I can survive, you can see I can drop bombs as well as firing forward. I'll show you that. So fire and bomb. And the mode there was the purple one, which again is not much of the colours, is it? It was like, I think it's that one, extend minus, and I think it was the second mode of that. Let me just hold down start, we'll see. So it's flashing, and it flashed twice there. If I go left, flash once, right, flash twice. Yeah, so extend minus submode 2 gives us those 2 fire buttons, which is really cool. I really like that. Yeah, maybe you're not supposed to go down there. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm actually watching the flames coming out the back of the ship, thinking that's my ship, and it's not. So it's like scramble this, isn't it? Oh, so hard. There we go. It's actually loaded this time. So yeah, we did need to disable basic, didn't we? Let's see what happens with these buttons. Now entering the elevator. Yeah, this is not the version of Spelunker I'm used to. Oh, so I've got a jump button. Hang on, what's that? Yeah, the second button does that. That's the thing you use to get rid of enemies, is it? I don't know. Are there any other buttons here? No, so it's just 2 buttons, this one, I think. Oh, press that second button again. Oh, I have played this before. Hang on, that'll be throwing a piece of dynamite, look. Is that lit? Yeah, we blew ourselves up. Manual shooting, start. It's quite a popular arcade game, this, I think. No, it was. Yeah, so the first fire button fires. The second one did something there. Made a bleeping noise when I pressed it. Yeah, it says mine crystal to make cine bombs. And here we are with the TF-MSX. And if I hit fire here, you can see, that starts. Sweet. I mean, you'd expect it to work, as long as you've got 5 volts to power this little device. It's going to work with anything that adheres to the Kempson/Atari. Oop! I messed that up. Right, I need to test some more games. I'm not sure if there are any games that use 2 buttons on the MSX. Right, so as you can see, we're over on the CD32 here. Just trying to help James get to the bottom of a problem with that game, actually, Banshee. I appreciate when I said that game there. I haven't actually previously mentioned that game at that point. Yeah, so this game, with the CD32 pad, it works. Going to test it with his adapter next. Yeah, so I'm putting the wrist strap on, although I shouldn't need to. If you've got some sort of controller that's got a metal thing around there, be very careful, because that's where you can easily pass ESD into a port or short pins out. I'll put it on port here. Although this game does support 2 controllers, 2 players, I think. Right, so we need CD32, which is, hold on, start. Down, down, down. It's not red, because that's light gun. It's that one. Start. So it should now be in CD32 mode. Yeah, I'm not sure if you could see that there then. Well, the button worked, so it seems to be starting. Maybe there's going to be no issue here. So we can move around, we can fire, and we can roll. So you know what? There's no issue. This adapter seems to work. It just doesn't work on the 4000, 1200, etc. And I think the issue might be this game, because the thing you've got to remember here is the CD32 has no CIAs. That same functionality, i.e. controller ports and stuff like that, is handled by a keycode. Yeah, I'll let him know. I'll let him know that that's working. So yeah, as you can see, using the Mega Drive pad here, and I can press B button and we roll. So no issues. What is interesting though is like some of these third-party adapters, you use those and there is an issue here. I'm sure when I originally tried with the CD32 using a PS2, when I say PS2, PlayStation 2 controller adapter, I'm sure there's a problem with this particular game. Yeah, so James's adapter works perfectly with Banshee on the CD32. So I switched that off. I'm going to go back over to the 4000 and I'm going to test with the CD32 pad, which again works fine with Banshee on the CD32. Yeah, this is one we fixed in an earlier video. It's a bit battered up, this, but you know what, it does actually work. So let's go give this a try. And these are nuts expensive now, which makes something like this an absolute godsend, because these pads are abundant, have nice features. Many of them have individual auto fires for the individual buttons, and you've got the 6, all the buttons replicated there, so yeah, they work really well. Right, so I plugged it into the 4000 using the wireless tank mouse here. A video on that coming up soon, thanks to Jamie Morgan. Anyway, CD32 pad is plugged in here. Yeah, that's working. Right, let's try James's adapter again. You'll see there's a problem, and this doesn't happen. Look, the fire button doesn't work. We can move around, but fire does not work. We can roll, and we cannot fire. So at this point here, I tried to assist James by using the logic analyzer function of my Rigol scope here that I'd never used up until this point, and I was really stressed that day, and I must have spent about 3 hours messing around building an adapter, which you can see me doing here in fast forward. I think it's pins 6 and 9 responsible for the clock and the data, and pin 5 I think was maybe the chip select. Yeah, it was just a lot of head banging trying to get the scope to do exactly what I want to do. At the end of it, I actually understand exactly what I was doing wrong, but I did a capture after capture after capture and sent James some of the uploads. I stored some of them on the card, as you'll see. And he kept saying, this doesn't look anything like I'm expecting, I don't understand what's going on. And I think it's just because I was just literally getting channels mixed up, thinking I was logic analysing a specific signal and then going, oh my god, I had it on the wrong pin, or the cable had come detached, or the trigger wasn't right, or I was triggering in the wrong direction. It just went on and on and on for 3 hours. So eventually I got so cheesed off with that, I said, I'll send you the pad. Can I send you the pad, James? Please will you take my pad off me? I don't want to do it. And he's like, yeah, just send me the pad. So yeah, the bottom line is I've sent that pad off to James, and James had a look straight away and very quickly worked out there's some crosstalk going on with his adapter, and not just his adapter. That same problem will exist on other adapters for 6-button pads. So I mentioned a few times through this video, I've got a PS/2 adapter, yeah, that goes to Amiga, port, and you can use it with a CD32. And I think one of them was actually, I had two of them. One of them was gifted to me, but I bought a brand new one off eBay, and the first game I tested was Banshee on a CD32, and I found the same problem we just saw together on the 4000. So yeah, it's something that people have not been aware of, that the crosstalk potential is significant when you have a little, extension cable there, and the integrity of the signals you've got to think about, how you deal with that crosstalk. So yeah, James, I think, added some resistors, a few different ones, some pull downs, some resistors there to maybe reduce reflection, and straight away I think he resolved the problem at his side. And just cutting in some video footage at the end of the video here, you can see my Frankenstein attempt to do what he's done. I couldn't get it working. I put the pull-ups, or the 10k pull-ups on the 3 signals he was talking about, cut the connections and fed them through. I only had 33 ohms, he's used 47 I think on the actual adapter, and I couldn't get it working. On my 4000 I still get the same problem. In fact, I think when I tested this last I had no buttons. I could use the directions, but the primary fire and the roll were not working for me at all. The bottom line is work is ongoing. James has dealt with a crosstalk issue. He's done a number of firmware changes. He's had auto fire functionality as well as testing on the C64. He's trying to get the light gun stuff working on the C64, and just a few other changes there that will make it more compatible, more resilient. Anyway, I do hope you found the video interesting. I hope you're as excited for this product as I am. It's like I say, I have every intentions of buying a couple of these. The price point is going to be sort of around the £20 mark, maybe slightly less than that, I don't know, but around £20 for something like that. That gives you light gun support on a few different systems here. Probably going to work with the C64, it works with the Amiga, it will work with the Atari 8-bit once he's added that submode 3, I think. And we'll test those things in a follow-up video, hopefully. But the 6-button pad with the Amiga stuff, but also 2-button support on Amiga stuff, 2 or 3-button support on the Atari 8-bit stuff. Whilst I didn't show it here, we might do in the next part, it does work with the Spectrum. It will work with the CPC if you have a little adapter that feeds 5 volts into the port there. Maybe not in terms of the light gun side, because on the Spectrum, light gun stuff went via like a little RJ45 serial connector, didn't it, on the +2. But there may have been other light guns that work from the the standard joystick port on the Spectrum, I'm not sure. And of course the pad stuff works on the MSX as well, and it's going to work on any of my systems where I've got an Atari/Kempston joystick port that provides 5 volts. Where it doesn't provide 5 volts, as I say, I will make an adapter. I'll do a separate video for that, for the CPC, but I can then use that with anything else, maybe even the Spectrum, Kempston, if I've got a port that doesn't provide 5 volts, I can use it with that as well. The Sinclair +2 and +3, the SJS standard, what you'd need is an adapter from SJS to Kempston, those do exist, and then just modify it to add 5 volts. Tapping the 5 volts off could be a problem, although the 5 volts might get passed on the SJS, I'm not sure. It might be like the CPC where they didn't put 5 volts on the joystick port. And a massive thanks to James. There'll be links down below to his Twitter social media. He's always posting updates on there. You can interact with him, post ideas for additional functionality, maybe even new products, and he always shares his new products on there. So yeah, it's well worth following James on there, and check out the link down below to the RetroHQ website. You'll know that James produces some pretty cool things for these 8-bit and 16-bit systems. Things like the game drive, the Atari Lynx version of that. I had a look at that, and there's a review of the earlier version before it got its new game drive name. I think it was originally called the Lynx SD. And then you got the Jaguar game drive. I've got the Jaguar. I have every intention of buying one of those at some point in the future. And he's got products for other Atari devices as well, like the 7800, and I might be able to show you some of that stuff moving forward as well. And the adapter you've seen in this video, there is actually the 7800 version of that too. Anyway, I do hope you found that video interesting. If you would like to support the channel, please see the Ko-fi and Patreon links down below. I will catch you in the next video.